Hey friends, I talked earlier about these fantastic kits that currently are only available to close to my heart previous customers. Starting soon, maybe next month, but more than likely September, we'll all be able to use them. But I was a close to my heart maker and a customer, so I'm able to order these. This one is not available anymore, as I explained, but you can follow along and you could create this with your own paper and your own stickers. So earlier, I punched out all of the die cuts and I have those all ready. Look, they're all ready to go in the bag. Whoops. They're all ready to go in the bag. And remember, they tell you what project they go on. So super cool. I'm putting that over there. Now, I'm going to do some cutting. I'm going to go with the first cutting guide. So it wants me to, number one, gather all your materials. Okay, I did that. I'm going to trim the zip strips and set those aside. I talked about those in the video, but let me show you what a zip strip is. It just sounds really cool. It's a fun word. Zip strips are these cute little strips on all the 12 by 12s. It is a true 12 by 12 once I trim off the zip strip. So let's put that over here. Let's take this and we line it up right there. Make sure it's right down the middle. And there's our strip. There's one. Keeper. And I do them one at a time. You know, you could probably line them up and hopefully get them right, but I have enough trouble doing them this way. So I do them one at a time. And you just line them up. Take your time, don't get funky and go too quick or you won't be happy. I'm terrible at that. I can go too fast. And then I end up with my 12 by 12 is 12 by 11 and 15/16. Which I'm okay, but you know, I might stay awake at night trying to get it just right. All right, this is the last one. So zip strips have all been zipped. Okie dokie. All right, so let's go to our next direction, which tells us check the cut orientation below each cutting guide image. It will show you how to cut the paper, keeping your patterns on your project pieces facing the right direction. Directions kill me every time, guys. Light gray pieces in the cutting guide are project pieces. White pieces are leftover paper. So as you can see on this paper, this is going to be a leftover piece. Can you see it? And this wants me to use this, and the cut orientation means this is on the front, this is on the back. Okay, so let's take that. Here it is. This is the front. And the first thing I'm going to do is a 5 by 12. Let me bring this so you can see it. It's a 5 by 12 and a 3.5 by 12. All right, so let's do that. 5. Yep. And then 3.5. And then 3 by 4 and 3 by 4. Well, look at that. Isn't that handy? It is a little bit more. So I need to trim you down to 3. Ooh, kind of a zip strip. And then 4. And 4. This is extra. I'm going to keep it over here. All right, so that's that first page, right? That's number 1. I'm sitting at my island with lots of room here because I knew I would need it. Then this one, let's come back to the directions. It wants me to do it this way, and I'm going to do 2 3/4, 2 3/4, 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. Okay, So I need a 2 3/4 inch strip. This is extra. I'm going to put the extras over here. And then I need 2 3/4, 2 3/4, and 2 3/4. Okay, I have no idea, and this is extra. I have no idea where these are going or what's going to happen or any of those things, but I'm just doing the cutting. All right, so that is the second one. So I've done this one and this one. It also wants me to cut the zip strips, and I kind of skipped over this, so let's go back to this. The blue one, it wants me to keep it at 12 by the 1/2 inch that it is. So that's this one and this one. Those guys stay the way they are. Okay, so we'll put those over in our cut pile that we've already done. This one, I need one of them, and they want it 9 3/4. So that's this one, and we want it 9 3/4. I am using my Stampin' Up trimmer, which has this option to get bigger when you need to. 9 3/4. That's all set. Put that over there. So this is extra. The trick to these instructions is don't skip it, because see, I skipped over that. Page 1, done. Let's turn the page. Now I need, this is the exclusive paper in that blue. All right, so where are you? It's right here. It's this one. Nothing on the back, and it wants it to go, you can kind of see the wash goes vertical, and if I look in my picture, the wash is vertical. So I'm going to go that way with it. So it wants a 4 by 12. So there's that. And then it wants 8 by 10. Okay. So I'm going to come over here to 8. Oh, look, that's what I am. I don't need to trim it. By 10. Extra. Put you in my extra pile. So there's my 8 by 10. Okay. Check. Now this one. This is that yellow. That's this one. And it wants it with the front. This is the front. And this has a lot of little things, but we can do it. The first thing we're going to do is 2 3/4, 2 3/4, 2 3/4. So I'm going to cut that strip at 2 3/4. Okay, so let's do that strip. And then we're going to do 1, 2, 3 of 2 3/4. 1, 2, 2, 3, and your extra. Okay, and then next it is this skinny little one here, but they show me, oh no, this is an extra. This is this one. I need one more 2 3/4, but I'm going to then cut on the diagonal, and I'm not going to use this piece down here. This gets tricky, you guys. 2 3/4. Okay, and then cut on the diagonal. To do the diagonal, you line up the points in the little track of your trimmer. And make sure that when you look down through, you can see both points. There you go. All right. So there, I only need one. I need this one. Let's look at the picture. Right? I don't need this one. I need this one. Okay. Now this tiny little one, 3/4 by 9 3/4. All right, so I need 3/4 of an inch, and that's always tricky. Right there. And I want it to be 9 3/4, yes. Which is right there. Okay, next, another 2 3/4. And I'm going to cut 1, 2, 3 of these. And all this is on this worksheet that's right here to my left. This would be tricky to do if someone was talking to you, I will say. You kind of need to pay attention because it's numbers and cutting and blah, 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 blah. This is extra. Move it over here. And one of these is on the diagonal. Okay. And I need both of them. 2, 3, do, do, do. And then last but not least of this page is 3 by 4. And I'm doing this in real time because I want you to see how long this takes. So this is 3 by 4, and I need 2 of these. There's 1 and 2. And then I am done with this page. So I ended up with this leftover. Whoops. This is my leftovers. I'm going to put those in my leftover pile up there. Now down here, this is the one that I said, if you watched my earlier video, that it looks like a kitchen table. A cute little tablecloth. And this wants this to be the front and the bike to be the back, but it wants to make sure that I do the bike this way. 5.5 by 12 and 3 by 12. Okie dokie. 5.5. Now I'll tell you, I have done these kits before, and I always get bogged down with labeling it and figuring out I need to write on. You don't. Just cut it. 3 by 12. Just cut it, and then you're going to refer to it when you're ready to put it together. You don't need to know what its number is. This is extra. If you can be a little organized about how you're dividing, I'll show you what the table looks like when we're done. And then this is an exclusive paper, so that's one of the ones that it's only in the workshop. It's not available to purchase by itself. So there's that one. They're only one-sided. That's how you can tell when it's an exclusive paper. And again, we're in that 2 3/4. That must be popular for something. Must be on one of the layouts. Uses a lot of 2 3/4. There's one. And I need 1, 2, 3 of these and a couple of diagonals. A couple of them become diagonals. 2 3/4. 1. I will tell you, I was the least, I am a convert. I thought this was too, I didn't like it. I didn't like the cutting and the measuring, but I honestly can tell you, it feels relaxing. All right, one more, 2 3/4. I kind of like it. If you're a quilter, you would love this because it's a lot like building a quilt. 2 3/4, but I only need this. I only need half of this one. But it literally is like building a quilt. There's that one, and right here, and then I need one more up here. 2 3/4. Cut on the diagonal. Okay. And then I need 2 3x4s. So I'm going to cut a 3-inch strip. And honestly, gang, if I can be a convert, you can too. And I promise you, you will love the way these layouts look. They are beautiful. And they're not like super crazy. So this is what, let's just show you. This is what I got from this direction. So I've got my, let's see, I have 2 3/4. I have a triangle. I have a 2 3/4. And I have a triangle. And then I have 2 3x4s, right? So there's that page. See what else we have. Turn the page. We have 4 more to go. All right, this one is the honey butter cardstock. And remember I told you there's light and dark. This is what I talked about in the other video. If you're wondering, where did she tell you this? She didn't tell me this now. I talked about it in the earlier video, which I will link to this one. That dark and light. Okay, so it wants dark side up. And sometimes you kind of have to compare them to figure out which it is. And it wants 3 by 9 3/4. All right, so let's go with 3. And then 9 3/4. 9 3/4. All right, there's one. Then I need, and you're extra. Then I need 1 1/4 by 9 3/4. 1 1/4. And again, I have no idea what for. So I'm not going to argue. I'm just going to do it. It's just telling me how to do it. It's like baking a cake. Just follow the directions. You don't have to argue. You don't have to think it up. You just have to do what it tells you. I love that. I don't have to think. My brain can just rest and I can just cut. And then I'm over here. It's 6 1/4 by 4 1/4. All right. So 6 1/4, which is kind of tricky to do on this ruler because it ends up being right in the middle of that dark space. 6 1/4, your extra, by 4 1/4. 4 1/4. 4 1/4. Okay, and your extra. And now I'm moving on to the rosy cardstock, which is right here. And again, it's the dark side up, which is you. See the difference? This is the dark side up, and I want 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. So I'm going to do 6 1/4. How did I know which one to do, right? Did that sound confusing? Well, if you look here, you can tell that this is right down the middle of the piece. So I want 6 1/4 by 4 1/4 down. There's 6 1/4, 4 1/4, and I want 2 of these. Then 2. You're extra. Oh, nope, you're not extra, come back. 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. So 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. Okay. And then I need 3 1/4 by 3 1/4. I need 3 more of them. So 3 1/4. Don't get cocky and get carried away because you're going to go too fast and then you're going to be upset. That was a warning to me. 1, 2, 3. Extra. Okay, so there's that one. Now I need the Seabrook cardstock, which is this one of my favorite colors. And again, the dark side up. So dark side up. And I want 3 by 4. Three by 4. It's getting dark in here. I think the rain is coming. It's been threatening all day. 3 by 4, 3 by 4. And then a 2 3/4 by 2 3/4 and a diagonal. We're getting good at that. Okay. And then 2 3/4 by 2 3/4, and I need 3 of them. Again, that's a popular size. And these are no diagonals, these are just regular. 2 3/4. And one more. Okay. And then last is the lime green cardstock. And again, it's dark side up. And I want a 3/4 by 9 3/4. And I wanted to show you another trick with the Stampin' Up! Trimmer. You can go this way, so for skinny things, coming over here is actually a little bit easier because the weight of the paper is still sitting on the trimmer over on this side. So 3/4 of an inch, get over there, be even. By 9 3/4. Aren't you excited to see where these pieces go? I am. Like, well, where's that going to go? What's that going to do? 9 3/4. And then lastly, oh, these are a little tricky. A 3 by 4. So let's go with our 3 first. We'll cut our 3-inch strip. And our 4. Okay, now 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. I need 2 more, but this is going to be too big, so I need to make this 2 3/4. Just that little bit, and then 2 3/4. Apparently that is also a popular size, and one of them goes on the diagonal. 2 3/4. And last but not least, one more 2 3/4. So I look at my timer and it's 23 minutes is what it took me to cut this whole thing. I'm done with the cutting. I'm ready to assemble. I'm going to stop this video now, and I will add another one where I put it together so you can see what they look like. But we'll probably do that live so that you can see it. But I wanted you to see this really isn't that bad. So let's move our trimmer. We got it. And then we still have our sticker sheet, which we haven't touched yet. These 2 pieces are going to do something. These 4 pieces, so I'm guessing those are the backs to my layout, my directions. This is, let's put my zip strips and all my extras together so that you can see. These are all extras. Let me bring them over. That I cut off, that I don't need, that can go in my scrap pile, save for later. Let's make cards pile, right? Put you over there. And then I want to, and then I have these pattern pieces. I don't know where they're going to go yet, but I'll hold on to them. I'll put them in my pile. I'm sure it will tell me. But this is what I cut. So these are all the pieces from the cutting guide. Comes out like this. I kept putting them down on top so they're in reverse to what we were doing. So when I go to look at the cutting guide, I can start separating them. Now I can put them by project and you're thinking, well, how are you going to know? Well, look at this. It tells me this is project 2, 2, 2, 2, 2, 2. All the red ones go on 2. This one goes on 2 and 3. 2, 1, 1. So now I can make piles. That's next. We're going to stop for now. But now I can make piles for each of the projects and I'll be good to go. All right. I'll be back. Bye.